Harihi Om Tat Sat. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru. Upon the earth, a number of beings are living. It is not that we have only one class of beings, one kind of beings. There are so many are there. I don't know whether anybody has taken account of the different creatures and beings thriving upon the earth and water. Amongst all of them, there is a clear distinction when it comes to the question of human life. I have said it on so many occasions, but nobody seems to be thinking about it. No other being is there which is like the human being. I think possibly yesterday or the day before yesterday, I said that Krishna makes a reference to human being during his talk, the last message he gave from Dwaraka to Uddhava. What does he say? I created several bodies. Bodies with no legs, single leg, 2 legs, 3 legs, 4 legs, many legs. Even after having created all these varietal bodies, I was not happy at all. There was no fulfillment in me. Finally, I created human beings. Then I had a fulfillment in me. Why? Only in this human body. Will you please listen to this? You have to listen to it at least 10,000 times. Only in the case of the human body, there is a possibility for anybody to inquire into and know me, the essence of every form of existence. Atramam margayandyadha yukta hedubhirishwaram grihyamanair gunair lingaihi agrahyam anumanada. Normally, the essence of existence is inaccessible. Inaccessible to all beings. Many of them have senses which are more powerful than we human beings have. But of what use? The senses are useful only to see things outside our body. Here it is a question of going inside, probing into the very existence and finding out what is the source and the terminus of everything. In order to find this out, the human body only allows the potential as well as the chance to do so. What is that potential in the human which helps him to understand, make this inquiry and understand the supreme source and truth? The one factor which distinguishes human life from the rest of the lives is the power of thinking and the power of articulation. Nobody understands and nobody pays heed to it. The power of thinking, we are able to think. You go along with a dog for a walk. The dog and the master, they go together. Mostly they see everything together. Both of them come back. The dog before long will go to sleep or start lying. But the master thinks about what all things have been seen and maybe something very special calls his attention. So he will start thinking about it in various ways. This is the difference between non-humans and humans. We not merely see and hear and do smell, taste and touch. But we also have the power to think about whatever we have seen. By virtue of thinking, we get a great degree of knowledge about whatever we see and interact with. And that knowledge can be beneficial in various ways. Ultimately, it can also provide fulfillment in human life. Our Vedas say, Brahmavid apnodi param. Only the one who knows Brahman, the supreme reality, will attain the supreme goal of human life. So the knowledge is the most important, crowning glory of human life. That knowledge is possible only in a human body. It is a power, potential and convenience that the body extends to us. Our skull is different from what they have. And then we have the power of articulation. All of them have tongue. The parrots almost repeat what we say if taught properly, but they won't be able to articulate whatever they have in their mind. But we are able to articulate. So the power of thinking and the power of articulation, these are the two factors which make human life strikingly different from the rest of the creatures. With this knowledge, we should try to deal with human life. The supreme importance should be given to knowledge. But knowledge itself is of two kinds. Knowledge of what you see, the visible objects around you. All these are objects, objects and objects. The moment you say object, it is always with reference to a subject. Without a reference to the subject, you cannot designate or call anything as an object. So the world is an object around us. All of you are objects before me. I am an object for all of you. So if we are knowing about the objects and the object world, should it not occur to us what is the subject which actually knows the objects, with reference to which all these objects have become objects? What is that source? What is that source? That source is not in the object. It is inside the object, inside your own body. So whatever is within our body, that becomes the subject area for us. You tell me very clearly, in all the academic centers spread out in the whole world, is there any kind of a teaching about the subject inner source of the human? Why? We all call them universities. What is a university? A university is a center or a place of education where the universe as a whole is taught. But the universe becomes so before a subject, because it is an object. So omitting the subject knowledge, how can you claim that we have dealt with knowledge in full? So this subject knowledge is the distinction which the human alone will be able to deal with. That is why Krishna says, only in the human body one is empowered, enabled and allowed to inquire into and know. Grihyamanam, whatever is seen, you are seeing. On the basis of the visibles, you are supposed to make enquiries, reason, etc. and then reach at the subject source. This is what our Vedas say, Brahmavid apnodi param. Now if this is the goal of human life, who will realize this? Who will realize this, you tell me? We are all born in the household. There is nobody here who is not born in the household. So the household life is very, very important. For what? For the birth of children. Agreed. The children should also grow. Let the parents look after the children until they grow to become adults. What is meant by becoming an adult? According to us, it is 21 years. When a person attains 21 years, he has become an adult. You can go on interacting with him and teaching him until he grows to be an adult. The moment he has become an adult, you should start telling him, now that you are an adult, think about matters yourselves, arrive at your own evaluations, goals, standards, styles, restraints, and then be guided by your own intelligence, your own knowledge. Except when they come to you and ask you for an advice, you should never talk to them at all. On the other hand, I always say the parents should tell the children, we are teaching you sometimes, advising you now, criticizing you. But this will go only until you become an adult. The moment you have become adult, we parents are going to ask you, I propose to do this, my dear son, my dear daughter. What is your opinion in the matter? Do you agree? Or you have a different point of view? This is the way you should deal with an adult child in your front. Our forefathers were very thoughtful. They were very insightful. So they have evolved 4 ashramas for us. What are the 4 ashramas? The first is called Brahmacharya. That is where all people are, boys and girls are equally celibates. They should be celibates. Then the second ashrama is married life. The purpose of marriage is Vamsha Vriddhi, a point that none of you knows. You don't recognize them also. What is the purpose of life? When I ask you, you may not be able to answer. What is the purpose of marriage? That also you will not answer. The purpose of marriage, it is an institution. The idea is to conceive and to bring up at least a couple of children to take the place of the parents. Then only human lineage will continue. Therefore, the purpose of a household life, Grihastha is to give birth to children and bring them up. Once they become adults, the parents need not cling on to the house or household. What should they do? They should worry about their own life. So far, their sole focus was on the objects, to bring up the children, to provide a lineage to humanity. All that is accomplished now. Then they should leave the adults to lead their own life in their own manner and simply get away from the house. This third stage is called a Vanaprastha life. While becoming a Vanaprastha, a person is supposed to have his wife also, if she is willing to accompany him. But that life is entirely different. Until then they were thinking about tomorrow and the days to come, making arrangements, making reservations, preserving, hoarding and all that. But the moment they become a Vanaprastha, they will not worry about tomorrow. Of course, when I look into the Shastras, they say very specifically that the Vanaprastha should totally depend upon chance. He is not a sannyasin, but he is preparing himself to become a sannyasin. So that Vanaprastha life where the father and the mother together, if they live. But they completely withdraw from the household concerns, household anxieties and household various thoughts and aspirations and commitments. Nothing should be there. They should be free birds. What will they do? They will be concerned about their own mind, intelligence and ego. This is something that nobody cared during the long household life. You were so busy with the outside concerns that you had no time to think about, I have a mind. That mind should become purified. The intelligence should become perceptive. As I am able to see with the help of the senses outside, with the help of my intelligence, I must be able to see within me much more clearly than what I see with the help of the senses outside. I think I should repeat this sentence. What you are able to see outside with the help of the senses, much more clearly you must be able to see with the intelligence inside. Say for example, you have a mind. Can you see it? A number of thoughts arise in the mind. Can you see them? A number of emotions, a lot of memory, a great lot of reasoning, rationality. All these are evolved within. But none of them is visible to the senses. Then how do you know them? How to improve the quality of thoughts, purity of thoughts, reformation, refinement of thoughts? How to increase the quality of intelligence? ensure that it is able to reveal, discover and explain the inner dimension in our life, the inner domain in the human personality. This is what the Vanaprastha should do. If they succeed, Vanaprasthas succeed in leading the Vanaprastha life, then they have the option to take up sannyasa. And as a sannyasin, what one should do, you must have known, at least I have been coming here for so many years. I think we have written quite a number of books. I have explained everything about my sannyasa life, how it began from Calcutta. When I decided to say goodbye to Calcutta, goodbye to professional life, goodbye to everything, I felt I was nothing. I am nothing. I have nothing. And I want nothing. These are the three important feelings, conclusions that I had in my life. I have known this knowledge, acquired this knowledge after getting Diksha from my Gurudev and devoting myself steadfastly to meditating and introspection, reading Shastras and the like. So the Shastric insight on the one hand, personal experience on the other, both of them, like the two wings of a bird, enabled me to fly extremely aloft. So I decided I should not be anymore a professional man. I wrote to the office people. At one time, I wanted to have employment and I was with you. Now the time has come for me to leave my employment and take up the life of a mendicant. Please allow me. I thank you for the opportunity you had given me. All of them were, perhaps they were surprised, but they were very, very acknowledging about what I said. So I left. This is sannyasa. Sannyasa and Vanaprastha life have a great difference. When you become a sannyasin, the entire world does not have to get any fear from you. You are the most unfrightening person in the world. A sannyasin never hurts, never harms. He only withdraws from whatever he is in when there is trouble. This is what everyone should do. A life of non-possession, a life of non-possession, a life of selflessness, a life where no ego ever hurts a man or troubles one. That is the life of sannyasa. These are the 4 ashramas. Now I have been asked what is the purpose of married life and how one should lead it. You should lead it in this manner. Never remain at home after the children have become adults. Never say, I want to have a daughter-in-law, I want to have a son-in-law. They have married to live themselves, not to be with you. Even when the children are grown up, you must have your own sense of freedom. Freedom. And this freedom can be had when you take up the Vanaprastha life. And it is a life of austerity, of discipline, of inner refinement, where you start dealing with knowledge and knowledge. Which knowledge? Not external knowledge, but the knowledge of the subject domain in the human personality. Once you start doing in this way, you will find the entire society will be very well organized. Swamiji, is this possible? I already told you the other day about Ikshvaku dynasty. Shaishavebhyasta vidyanam, yauvane vishayeshinam, vardhage munivrittinam, yogenante tanutyajam. The great Kalidasa, who always speaks only truth, he has described the Ikshvaku dynasty, princes and kings, in this manner. While they were young, they were given to acquiring knowledge. Shaishave abhyasta vidyanam, yauvane vishayeshinam. When they become adults, they were interested in getting married. More than one wife they had, all invariably, because the number of women were less and men were one in the Kshatriya community every time. So there was a special provision that a Kshatriya can always marry, should marry also, more than one.
Men were less
Huh?
Men were less, women were more.
Men were less and women were more. Did I say the other way?
Yes, sir.
Oh. So men were less because of internecine fights, inter-kingdom fights. Regularly they used to take place here. Only men will die. So, yavane vishayeshinam, vardhake munivrittinam. Then when they were old, they asked the first son to sit on the throne. And they retired into the forest. Yogena ande tanutyajam. And when it was a question of leaving the body, they left the body. Through adopting the yoga means. In Srimad Bhagavatam and other texts, there is a very clear mention about as to how the body can be left. We can leave our body. I think if you will, I think it will happen. One day a sannyasin came to our ashram from Himalayas. So I asked him, I have one question. There are so many sannyasins living in the Himalayan slopes, they say. What do they do when they grow old and they find it difficult to look after themselves and nobody is by the side? Swamiji, it is very simple and easy. They just walk into the powerfully flowing Ganga. They take 3 or 4 steps into the water and the water washes them off. Some people tie a piece of stone into their leg so that the dead body will not float. After finishing your duty and role, what is the harm if we go away? What did Sri Rama do? The Kalarudra had to come and remind him, it is time that you have to go. Please go. Come back. What did Krishna do? He went to pacify his own Vrishnikula who were engaged in a fight in Prabhata Tirtha. When he interfered and started appeasing them, they beat him profusely. His own people. When he found that my own people are beating me, so there is no necessity to stay here anymore, he simply went off coolly without speaking a word and was leaning on the trunk of a tree. Then a hunter discharged an arrow at his foot and he died. Why don't you read all these things and understand? Who wants you to live when it becomes impossible for you to live? And even your own son will not be able to lift your body from the cot. Why should we live? So our lifestyle is very, very clear. So if you ask me, what is the message for married people? My message is, allow your sons and daughters to live comfortably with their families and don't interfere in them. They have married, they have to look after their children. You should not interfere at all. If they want any help, okay. If they want to come and stay with you for 10 days, allow them to stay. Not otherwise. I think we are failing, but the foreigners are very clever in this. When the children pass their schools, no concern for the father and mother at all. Up to school they are all right, they depend upon the parents. After the school, they take loan and study in the college. And they meet only on birthdays once or twice in a year. So I think they are much better than Indians in this regard. At least learn from them. Many things we have learned. This is what I have to say. Life should be fulfilling. Householders also should feel fulfillment and leave the household to the younger ones. Then I think our life becomes meaningful. Do not neglect the supreme goal of human life. It is in knowing the supreme reality. Brahma vid apnodi param. This is the motto of our Narayana Ashmata Bhavanam. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Jai Guru. Jai Guru. Jai Guru.